After literal months of pacing back and forth trying to decide who to pick for the educator who has made the biggest impact on me, I had to go with my favorite teacher for the past 3 years, and that being Miss Canady, formerly known as Miss Kowalski, Miss K, or the occasional Miss Canada. The very first time I met Miss Canady was the end of my freshman year. I was doing a project for Miss Washington that involved drawing a picture of a scene from the book that we were reading, and after I drew a decent amount of my picture, I went to Miss Canady's room to get colored pencils. When I walked in, I asked Miss Canady what her opinion was of my project, and she went, "If it were my project, I'd throw it in the trash." Instantly, I decided to prove to her that I can make decent art, so when it came time to pick my classes for the next year, I was sure to pick art with Miss Canady. I never had a bad day in her class. Every day I'd walk in excited for the project we had assigned, yell out, "Hey Miss K," and eagerly wait to start working. Throughout my entire time in Miss Canady's art class, my goal with every project was to get it hung up in the library. If it made it into the library, then I knew I had done a good job. Every Friday, I would pester Miss Canady about putting my project in the library, and every single Friday, I would watch her put all of her favorite pieces into a pile and take to the library, only to find out mine wasn't going. Even though each week I would get discouraged, Miss Canady would tell me that I needed to keep my head up, and that if I put all of my effort into it, that she knew at least one of my pieces would get into the library. At first, I didn't believe her until I made one oil pastel picture that I've overhyped every day since I finished as being one of my greatest works, since I watched Miss Canady put it into a stack of papers and got it hung up in the library. My first 2 years in art, I never really paid much thought to it other than it being an easier class I can socialize in while also having fun painting or drawing. Once senior year came around, I decided to take Art 3 and 4, partly because I love the flow of the class and partly because in Art 3 all of the art we make is around sculpting and building, which I wasn't able to do before. Because of Miss Canady's help and guidance, I quickly fell in love with sculpting and building pieces of art. Rather than drawing on paper or painting on a canvas, I got to use random materials to make sculptures that were sometimes taller than myself. Because of Miss Canady helping me find my love for building and creation, it led me to discover what I want to be for my career, and that is a mechanical engineer. I loved every moment of her class. If I ever had a rough day, I knew I could go to her for help. When it came time for me to send a reference in for Old Dominion University, Miss Canady was the first person that I went to, and she made sure that I got my reference as soon as possible. It's hard for me to look back on my favorite memories in high school and not think about my time spent in Miss Canady's class or her art club. If there's one thing that I wish I got to say to her before school got shut down, I'd thank her for the countless time she spent helping me with my projects for her and my projects for other classes. I'd thank her for leading me to fall in love with art and never losing hope in me when I didn't think my art was good enough. Miss Canady, thank you for everything you've done for me. The impact you've had on me is so large that I don't have enough time in this speech to explain it all. From the bottom of my heart, thank you, Miss K.